the recording part, the posting part, unless you're, paying for ads or boosting your video, again, it's nothing out of pocket, So why not? Why not give it a try? But the try can't be like an immediate try and expect a return right away. I think that's where a lot of people, fade out a little bit because they don't get that immediate result that they were hoping for, expecting. But it's a long-term game.
Hey there, I am Dr. Jason Ballara, and this is the Know Your Why podcast, where we explore the why behind success. Every week, I meet with real estate investors, veterinary entrepreneurs, mindset coaches, authors, and fitness professionals to uncover their why and how it drives them on the winding road to success. What is your why?
Hi everyone, I'm Jason Ballara, and this is the Know Your Why podcast. Today I'm here with Patricia Andre Wiltons and Tony Prasad. They're a dynamic sibling duo behind the Unengaged agent and Trans States Realty, based out of Tampa Bay, is my understanding, at least from the bio. I'm going to stop there. I want to, let you tell your story, but first I'll say thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. Thanks for taking the time out today. I am very excited to talk. I think this is going to be an important topic for real estate agents, but also, just the world in general. I think before we started recording, we talked about that.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, why don't we get a little bit of your background? Obviously, we now know your siblings, but tell us about, kind of your background and what brought you to the space you're in.
Sure.
So,
Tony, want to go first?
So we're real estate agents based out of Tampa. We've been agents in the area for 10 plus years. Patricia a little bit longer than me. And
one of those seasoned agents, So.
And we've been partners for a good chunk of that time. And over the years, we've gone through we've seen the history of marketing real estate. Between billboards to Zillow leads and just seeing the growth and changes throughout. And we see this big forefront on like social media marketing, and we don't see a lot of agents taking advantage of it. So we created the Unengaged agent to kind of help agents through those things, because it can be very overwhelming. It can be very, stuff that's not relevant to real estate. So we try to, teach realtors how to navigate that social media world, and even with the AI and automation, how they can use those in their real estate efforts, because it's quite daunting, and it's one of those things where we definitely see the need for it. We don't see a lot of realtors online. We don't see a lot of realtors making videos, and that's why we want to help them with that.
Yeah, and then like you said, just seeing the marketing throughout the years, knowing, being at the forefront of it is where it needs to be. People are connecting with people, and we understand that. Is that our comfort zone through video? Probably, it didn't start that way at all. Definitely over time and consistency has made this a lot easier. And I feel like I'm saying the same thing, but it truly is that. It's just over time, and over time it gets easier. You said a little bit about us. I have been a real estate agent since '98, so I've seen, going to the MLS, going to the office and seeing it printed out and all that stuff to where we are now with AI and automation is really fascinating. And I think the thing is to really get the word out and show how to, and it's really simplified, and it's thinking outside the box and giving it a chance.
And to take even further back, our father has been in the real estate industry for the past 30 years in Tampa Bay. So it's something we kind of grew up in. We kind of seen it back then when it was, go get in the MLS sheet from the office, compiling it for your clients, and going on drives with maps and out in the car.
Physical maps, I think that's why I see everything as a grid. I think I was a map reader at a very young age, Yeah. But it definitely gave us those skills, and we've seen, the ups and downs of being in the real estate industry too. So I think staying current, staying relevant, there's a lot of new agents that are out there, watching certain shows and has this, perception of what it is and what needs. We're just trying to streamline it. We've been in hustling and grinding and learning as we go, and we just want to share it too.
Yeah. Well, and maybe you answered the question I was going to ask, but there may be more to it. So it sounds like you've been in real estate for a long time, in the sense that it starts with dad, and then both of you. So where did you get your training and background in? I assume you must have some level of technology knowledge, and or is that something you kind of picked up along the way? How did that start to play a role into the business process?
Yeah. So
From
you want to go ahead, or you?
Well, just for me, like when it comes to the digital marketing of it, goes back to print shop days, way back, where we made the little banners with the, printed out sheets that had the little holes on there. And I think we were always, as brethren, we just always press buttons and wanted to play with things and figure it out. And through that and through TikTok, previously Musically, kind of got my attention when it came to the short form fun videos that I saw could take a different turn, if you used it strategically. So that's one of the main things to kind of overcome is how to use social media to your advantage.
Yeah, and just a little bit of my background. Before I was a real estate agent, I worked on a television show called The Daily Buzz. I was a television producer and editor for them, for almost 10 years, and that's where I really honed like my video skills. See the power of video. I saw how much how people could become the expert in their field just by being on camera, being on videos, and making that connection through television at the time, and now through social media. It's definitely video is such a powerful tool that it doesn't come natural to me. It doesn't come natural to Patricia, but we kind of forced ourselves and
learned how
to kind of get there.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think, the way, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jason.
Go ahead.
No, with Tony, he just said, his professional part of that video producing. So he is a desktop monitor guy. I do probably about 98% of my editing right here. So in the beginning, I made a lot of videos, I would say, prior to Tony. And everyone was under the perception that I made the videos, he was my editor, and it was never that in the beginning, So that's what I want to show. It's like really and truly, like if I can do it, you can do it. And, just a little bit of that publisher, print shop publisher. So I've always played around with graphics. So I kind of like, this is a creative outlet too, making the videos as well. So
yeah. I also I obviously have a podcast. You're on it right now, but I am not one who loves being on video, camera, that sort of thing. But I think that realistically, it's like I just say like that's the job now. It's part of the job is in almost any industry. We sort of talked about it before we even started recording, right. that it's relevant to real estate agents, but it's kind of relevant to everybody in the sense that you don't necessarily have to do TikTok, but like you need to think about social media in your marketing strategy, or you don't probably have a marketing strategy. Like there's got to be something associated with it, whether we like to be the face of that or not. I know there are ways around being the face of it, but probably not for kind of first time business owners or agents or insert job profile here. You probably need people to know who you are. So
yeah, I would say so. In a service-based industry, it's definitely where you're connecting with, they hear your voice, they see your personality, they see what's going on behind you, get a little bit of, who you are. So prior to working or prior to referring, a lot of this is not just direct, contact, right? It's a lot of you're seen, they've told a friend or a neighbor, whatever it may be, but it's just really putting yourself out there and being on the flip side of that scroll.
And especially with the changes in the industry right now, with the NAR settlement and the need to make that connection and gain that trust, it's such a faster pace than before. They're gonna have to want to work with you so bad And the only way they're going to know who you are is if you put yourself out there and talk to them every day and give them helpful hints, helpful tips, and over time you'll gain their trust.
But, if through time, right, a faceless channel could be a starting point to get into the groove of things, and then maybe a voiceover, get your voice out there. But there could be baby steps to it, but it's getting it started. Don't overthink it. Don't perfect it. I mean, that's the thing, is perfection. Everyone wants everything to be perfect or comparing to, and it's through that, it's through growing a community, it's growing through like-minded people that can kind of help and support each other through this journey, because we're all learning as we go, and it's forever evolving. So yeah.
The it's a great point, that because probably, as you mentioned, through your real estate career, things have changed over that time. And where we are right now with marketing and social media, it's not where we'll be in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. It's just not going to, especially with technology, things change so quickly. What tools are you kind of focused on now? I know you talked about print shop and the old days, but
The old stuff,
what are you using now? What are your sort of go-to technology things for your business and for the people that you're helping?
Well, I would say the number one tool that we probably use every single day is probably ChatGPT. It is our assistant. We can have it digest tons of information and get it back to us. I guess a couple of real estate examples would be, one would be I had we had a listing recently, and I had the HOA docs, stack of 80 page docs, and I needed to find, do they allow leases or do they allow pets? Fed that all into ChatGPT, had it kind of summarize it for me, and then tell me if I needed to what page I need to look for if I wanted the actual text. So that was like really helpful. Because before I'd used to scroll until I found it. And then
the other,
go ahead.
yeah. And I was just going to give another quick example of how it's just time saving, right? Tony and I went to a builder preview of a new community, and he took a few handwritten notes. Came back, one thing, it's not legible. So we were Zooming. He took his notes. He went to ChatGPT on his phone and did an audio reading of whatever he could scribble down, right? So through that, ChatGPT formulated it into this great outline with bullet points and everything, to where he was able to take that exact outline and put it into our email to send out to all of our clients and inform them of this great new home coming around, So it's just something like that literally took 5 minutes. Probably either wasn't even a thought in someone's mind, or two, it would be a thing to, if you had a team that you wanted to present this information to, or a brokerage, and it would be like a whole thing you'd have to create and make. And, it's just fascinating to me of thinking outside the box and what these tools can do for you. And I know that's just one of the tools you're asking for, but Tony can.
Yeah, I guess another one of the major tools that we use is repurpose.io. This has actually saved us so much time, because what it does is it allows you to post on one platform, one short form video on one platform. Say I post on YouTube Shorts or on TikTok, and have it be distributed to all the other ones. It'll format it for the between TikTok, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, all those things. It's probably more. I'm forgetting them all. But it allows us to get a much wider reach, because not every video is going to perform the same on each platform, because they're all different audiences. Right. And it allows us to just have our content out there. And it definitely is a time saver. Before, we were physically taking a video, posting it on each and every platform, and you don't have to do it anymore.
I don't know if you had mentioned, but it does remove the watermark as well, and carries over the description and captions, and cuts it off if YouTube Shorts only has X amount of characters. So again, that is a huge deal, from not having to individually post on. And I think, it prevents people from being across the board, because when they don't either know about this tool, or they're like, I'm not on Instagram or I'm not on YouTube, but it shows, even if it's two viewers that just saw your video on YouTube, I mean, that's two people that could go in, so many different directions, right? So, and it's not an immediate, always. It can be years in the making, but it does work.
Yeah. And you said that was repurpose.io?
Yes.
Is that
repurpose.io? Yeah, and we have all the creator tools, or at least our favorite tools, on our page as well. So we'll link that, or we'll send you the link.
Yeah.
When you so you're working with other agents to help them with their social media presence and kind of teach them these tools and techniques. Where do you, I guess, like, where do you start with them if you have a new agent? I know you mentioned, sort of people you see on TV, and it's whatever, whichever of those,
right.
Sales shows that you want to watch. But ultimately, it's no different than like watching any of the flipping shows. Like, that's not really what it's like. They're showing you the highlights and all of that. When someone is new into the business, what do you recommend? Where would be a starting point for them? How do they? I think it makes a lot of sense to implement this stuff immediately and not, sort of start with an analog marketing program.
And that's
that
it. I think everybody wants that, knowing the perfect formula, right? The first step, I would say, is one, if you are on social media, like, what's your favorite platform that you spend the most time on, and start there. Just to, build out your page. And we do have a course actually for short form videos, and it actually has how to set up each one of those pages, from Facebook to Instagram, making sure you've got the right keywords and business profile. Tony can tell you a little bit more about that, but it's definitely where you can start if you have nothing at all, and then where to go from there.
Yeah, it takes you from A to Z. It takes you from just beginning setting up your profile to how to automate your content, to what type of videos you need to be making, how to bring AI into the mix,
how to add text, how to add music, tutorials in between as well. So it's a full package to get you started.
But I guess the main thing, I feel people don't get intimidated. You don't need a fancy mic. You don't need fancy camera. You just kind of just use your phone, get started, and you will get more comfortable over time. And social media is such a immediate thing that the next day people won't be looking back and looking at your previous things. It'll be like, if you make a video every day, you'll get better, and they'll see your new stuff. So it's not something you need to. It doesn't have to be perfect. This doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Right. And not everybody sees your content too, the way it works. And, it goes out in batches, right? So it's like, it's not back to back, like Tony said, there's not all this comparison. Every once in a blue moon, they'll see your video. I lost my train of thought on something else I was going to say, but yeah.
And then obviously we're deep into the AI and automation stuff. And the important thing is, when you're doing the AI and using that, say, your digital avatar, or having it write scripts for you and whatnot, you got to make sure it's in your voice. You got to make sure it sounds like you, and because at the end of the day,
like your tone,
at the end of the day,
your way of speaking,
buyers and sellers are hiring you. Yeah. So you want to feed all that information into ChatGPT or whatever AI you use, and have it just learn what your tone is. Because it matters. It matters on how you deliver it, and it matters if you're using a digital avatar to make sure that it doesn't just sound very generic. You don't want to be that.
Right.
Yeah. No.
And then back to like the power of ChatGPT, because I think people have heard of it or have not heard of it, and if they have, it's more like to write your resume or look up recipes, something to that degree. But little things like making 30 days worth of content in a half an hour, through getting, what are the top, 10 things to do in Tampa Bay. It pulls it up for you. Then you can transfer that over to Canva, make these, static graphics, or turn them into videos. And it just keeps going, your carousel slides, and it's all generated from one source. And it's not like, of course you can customize it, and it's not the only thing, but like Tony said, it's more of an assistant, more brainstorming and just, even again, like giving a script. People don't want to speak in front of the camera, don't know what to say. Having that script, you could throw that onto CapCut and read right off the screen as you're recording. You
Teleprompter
can slow
feature.
it down. And it's tools like that I think a lot of people don't know, or it's intimidating that it may be difficult to understand or use. So we have those in place of videos made showing you how, for the most part.
Yeah, I'm sure that's extremely helpful to people, because I mean, just speaking from personal experience, it's like I'm not a tech guy. I don't know all of these different platform tools to use, and and then when I find one and I'm like, wow, look at what you can do. I mean, even ChatGPT, some of the things you've just described in this 20 minutes or whatever, I didn't know it could do that. I don't. I still
Right.
I'm like, I don't know how to do that. But I do know that the biggest thing with ChatGPT and probably a lot of the AI stuff is feeding it the correct prompts, the correct asking it the right questions, kind of
Right.
all of that stuff. And I think that's where the real, I mean, people talk about AI is going to remove jobs and things like that. I think it's just going to shift jobs to people that are knowing how they can understand how to, take control of that AI tool and use it to their advantage. And some of that, sometimes I see people, whether it's through training programs like yours or just groups that I'm in, they're like, oh, I put this, prompt into ChatGPT, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I'm gonna try it, and I'm just like blown away by what it produces for you. Having said that, one of my things that I found very interesting is like we use some of these tools. We use ChatGPT, we use Canva a lot. I have people helping. Some, I'm not an influencer by any means. My best performing videos were literally just stupid things where I held the camera and was like either talked to it with something in the background or like filmed a little very short video and posted, and like I don't understand why. I don't know why they were
people like to be authentic, to see authenticity,
Yeah.
and rawness and the real deal. That's why I think a lot of behind the scenes are so well, because people just like that. They like to see like, hey, you're like me, I don't know either, type of thing, and we learn as we go, and and that's the thing with social media, that the tools are within it. You can look up in TikTok or whatever and say how to, and there's a video already made showing you how, and so that's how we're learning, and we're sharing what we learn and keep it going.
Yeah, especially since a lot of people are using the social media platforms as a search engine now. People are searching for things on TikTok, searching things on Instagram, searching for realtors, searching for different how to buy homes, and so you definitely need to be kind of on there. You need to be able to answer those kind of questions, because not everyone is on Google or on Zillow. They're out there.
And we've taken it even to another step, which I think has been great too, is with our real estate company, Trans States Realty. We're also Pasco Tampa Vibes, which is the area that we're living in. So we've done local business spotlights kind of like this, where we're just interviewing back and forth, and it's great because you're connecting with the community, and then you're also cross promoting, sharing each other's audiences, and it's just a good relationship, and it's nice, it's good. And then back to like our backgrounds, Tony was in TV production. I took a little period, a pause of real estate, and I went into the nonprofit world with the Boys and Girls Club for about, I don't know how many years, but I totally love that world too. So all of this just reconnects everything, through the creative side or the community side. And it's all through, the only thing different that we're doing is this, is connecting. And it's convenient too, right? You didn't have to leave your office. We didn't have to leave, and we're still able to accomplish the same goals. So it's just working smarter, not harder.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people, AI is kind of in our faces all the time, right? People are talking about it. We're talking about it right now, but like it's everywhere. You see good and bad. Like some people,
Of course.
AI is going to lose all the jobs. Some people, AI is going to fix everything. You'll never have to work again. I mean, it's really probably going to be somewhere in between. But the reality of right now is we're still very early in the implementation and adoption of AI and whatever new technology is going to come out of that.
Yeah.
And so we've touched on this, but like there's a lot of industries, real estate's one of them. There's a lot of antiquated stuff going on, right? Like try getting on your county website for anything. It's horrible, right? It's going to be a horrible experience. And some industries are going to take longer to come around and adopt these technologies. But people can use that to their advantage, right? Like if you're willing to give it a shot and get out there and learn from folks like yourself on how to use this stuff, it's going to set you apart from the 95% of people in your industry that aren't using it yet, that are either afraid, confused, unwilling, whatever the case may be. It's going to take some time. It's not easy to
No, not
pick
at
it
all.
all
And
up right
it's
away.
challenging yourself. It really is. It's just
Yeah.
it's not overthinking, right? And that's one of my main goals, because I think that is the first thing about video making that scares people, is just being in front of that camera, so it's overcoming that hump. And then once you do, it's, game on, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a progression, like say your first videos, you won't sound as, I mean, I would hate for someone to go back and listen to my first
all of
10,
us,
yeah.
20
and
episodes
in
of
a
this
sense,
podcast.
it's kind of good. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it just evolves over time. It really does.
Yeah,
And those that personally know me know that, they've seen, because this is not me. And even Tony's, I think they're even more surprised seeing Tony on video than me sometimes, but yeah, it's just, we've come a long way, and and we're enjoying it. We're enjoying the process. We're enjoying sharing. We're enjoying seeing people. I love it. I love seeing when other agents start making their videos and take it, and everyone's video is different. Some want, green screen and totally perfect, and some are in their car eating while they're, making a phone call or something. So, to each its own, but yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to what you said. Just people want to see the behind the scenes, the authenticity. It's realistically. I feel like, and again, this stuff all changes so fast. I feel like there was a moment of by a moment I mean maybe a year or two of like produce these videos as beautifully as you can with the
Sure.
B-roll and captions and all of this stuff, and then it almost seems like people are moving back towards just sitting in front of a camera and talking, and like you said, like driving in the car, right?
Because I can't do that polish, because the minute you go that direction, you'll never, not to say you'll never, but it holds you back from doing more, because there's so much thought and perfection into it that so like Tony, I made like 4 videos back to back, rebatch create when we can, but
Yeah, and because of my background in television, I was always used to it having to be perfect. We had to have B-roll, had to have music, had to have perfect sound, perfect lighting. And now we've kind of gotten past that. You need to kind of just be able to walk outside with your phone and feel comfortable enough to kind of just talk to it. We try to tell people just to treat it like a FaceTime call. Just feel like you're talking to someone, through FaceTime.
One person. You're addressing one person. You're and maybe you are, right. So that's how, and you want to connect like that. You do want into the back to the content, right? You want to be able to offer solutions or bring value, humor, however it may be. But there's many ways.
Yeah, completely agree. I say yes, and I agree, because this has just been something, like I said, for me, I look at it as it's a part of the job. Like if I want to have a successful business, there's got to be some level of interaction via social media and whatever. And again, it's like the podcast is something I was terrified about starting. It really scared me. And this interview, this might end up being 350. If it's not, it's
Nice.
right around 350. And it's like, don't listen to the first ones. I mean, you can if you want to see like an example of what it was like in the beginning and how obviously uncomfortable I was, to me really realizing over these, episodes that it's just a conversation, and it's actually a conversation that I really enjoy. And so it's like I get to learn something every single time. It's the same. Social media is the same thing, right? Like it's about being able to have connections, conversations, and you don't necessarily have to go to that part, right? You can meet people that you would never meet otherwise. And that's how we weren't going to run into each other, right? You're in Florida, I'm in Los Angeles. Like it wasn't just going to happen upon this. And so it's just, this is, to me, the podcasting is just another example of social media.
Absolutely. And it's the same, the video. Platform. I mean, we're doing it as well. And it's you connect, you learn for sure,
and the ability
from each other.
Just the ability to reach thousands of people that you said never had any sort of contact with. Before that used to cost thousands of dollars to either get on a television ad or radio ad, a billboard. You don't have to do that. There's other ways to reach those same people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me switch gears. I want to get to ask you the questions I ask every guest, and there's two of you, so it will take twice as long. Right. So, that's okay though. So the first question I ask everybody is what is your why? Obviously, the name of the show is Know Your Why, and so I like to know, kind of what's driving people, what really is your why, and kind of keeps you going on the hard days.
For me, I mean, it's connecting with people and I'm helping people. I think serving people is the main thing. So if I know that, I just met Jason and you've got this great, just to connect the two is a big deal for me. And then seeing people succeed, right? So I just want everyone, to live their life and do what you're passionate about, follow your dreams for sure. And really, anything's possible. But the only way it's possible is you have to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think it's something very similar. I just, be able to help people with the struggles of their daily life. We see these other realtors that are out there, or small businesses that are going through the trials that we did years ago. So be able to have them skip those steps and kind of like, hey, there's a faster way to do this. Let me help you with that. That's kind of what we'd like to do.
Right. And it's a do-it-yourselfer thing too, right? So it's more like helping you save time and money, because, the expense in our industry, it's a lot out of pocket without making anything right offhand, so it's kind of, even for the newer agents, I've seen some excellent ones that are making videos prior to getting their real estate license, and they're kind of taking you on that journey, and then they're growing their sphere that way, and may not be an immediate return, but again in the years to come. And
I think it's Gary V that says document, don't create. Right. So that that idea of just kind of letting people into, using that example of a realtor before they get their license, like what is the process, right? Like what don't just show up one day, I'm a real estate agent, like show people how you got to that. The work, I mean,
and it's not all pretty, right? So you have the days of being down, and I think even like for small businesses, or you're thinking about getting a food truck, when you're looking for the truck, record that. When you buy the truck, record that. It doesn't have to be when it's ready to go for the grand opening. So it's kind of getting past that mindset. Yeah,
completely agree. Tell us something about yourselves that isn't common knowledge. Special skill, a hobby, anything that you're comfortable sharing. Tony, I can see that we are both superhero.
Yeah. I saw this. We were looking past. We saw your DC.
One's Marvel, one's DC, though. I think, right?
I'm sort of both. Yeah, I can see the Thor's hammer behind you.
Yeah, I got Thor. I got the Marvel logo back there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously I've been into comics my whole life. Used to walk down to the comic book store when I was a kid and grab those issues.
Comics and hockey.
Yeah, comics and hockey. Yeah, those are my two things.
That's Tony.
So yeah, just I always loved comics, and now we're in the heydays of having some great movies out there, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
And
Deadpool
for me, I'm a Gen Xer.
Jason had a question. What was that?
So, I'm sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
Have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet?
No, tomorrow's the plan. Tomorrow's the plan to go.
Okay. I haven't seen it either.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is going to come out well down the road, but I haven't seen it yet either. But
that's funny.
Yeah, I'm needing to find time. Sorry, I just curious about where we are in the timing of this. That'll give people a idea of when we've recorded
right?
this.
Yeah.
The Monday after it was released. So
there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, Patricia.
No, that's okay. That's okay. A mom of two beautiful girls and been married, with my husband 25 years or so. But my passion, and I don't know if it's so hidden because I make it known, is reggae music, and I love art, as you can see, and anything Gen X, right? So I'm an 80s kid too. I grew up on MTV, so back to TikTok and Musically, the short form videos. I just thought that was so neat, and really through that, I was like, "What's this all about?" and kind of went from there.
No, it is something I resisted for a long time. Social media in general, something I resisted for a long time, and then, like I said, sort of had to adopt it because it was part of the sort of that part of the job mentality. But it gets kind of fun, right? You can learn a lot. Like I said before, you can meet people. You can just learn a lot maybe about yourself.
I mean, it's a tool. I have said it from the beginning. It's a tool.
Yep.
Like, it's the number one tool, and everyone has it. It's free. I mean, you pay your phone bill, but you know what I mean? It's like,
right.
And then the recording part, the posting part, unless you're, paying for ads or boosting your video, again, it's nothing out of pocket, so why not? Why not give it a try? But the try can't be like an immediate try and expect a return right away. I think that's where a lot of people, fade out a little bit because they don't get that immediate result that they were hoping for, expecting. But it's a long-term game.
Yeah, absolutely. When people hear this and they want to reach out to you, what's the best way to get in touch?
We're on all the social media platforms as the Unengaged Agent, or you can go to our website, theunenageagent.com. But if you just follow us on either of those platforms. We do have a AI webinar for real estate agents, online. I would suggest if you're just interested in how can AI help your real estate marketing, I would suggest checking it out. And I think Jason will have a link, or those be links on our profile.
Yeah, and even if you're not a real estate agent, really even if you're not a real estate agent, the AI marketing can help your business as well. And it's pretty fascinating to see or give you a glimpse of what you're able to do, easier for me visually to see it than hear about it too. Right. So,
yeah. And we will have all those links in the show notes so people can find you and connect and, learn about what you're doing, whether they're real estate agents or maybe, like I said, I really think this is applicable. These skills and tools are applicable to probably anything, any industry. And so I think the concepts are the same. So maybe you'll be able to expand your outreach to different industries as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Where we can help.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this was amazing. Patricia and Tony, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all that you did. So much. I mean, I learned a lot just in this conversation. And I think, again, connecting with you on social media and checking out your website and webinar will be important for all of us. So thank you for taking the time out today. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much for having us on. If you have any questions or if anyone else has any questions, feel free to reach out. We're available.
Yeah, and we're happy to do the webinar for your teams or your board. We've done it through Zoom also. So when we have it on the replay, which is fantastic. So that's easy access to get a glimpse of it. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Folks listening, I know you're going to get a lot out of this episode. Please make sure you connect with Tony and Patricia, and please rate, and review the show so we can get more great guests. And thank you all for listening.
Hey there, I am Dr. Jason Ballara, and this is the Know Your Why podcast, where we explore the why behind success. Every week, I meet with real estate investors, veterinary entrepreneurs, mindset coaches, authors, and fitness professionals to uncover their why and how it drives them on the winding road to success. What is your why?